The civilization of Yue. The ancient civilization of Yue believes in the creation of the world, humans, and evil as a result of a quarrel between two godly siblings. The creation myth begins with two siblings, Cthulhu and Mutlu. They were constantly fighting, and one day, Mutlu decided that she was tired of seeing only her brother. So, she decided to create other life forms. She breathed life and made humans, and they multiplied and became numerous. She saw that they would need a permanent place to live, and so she created earth, plants, and animals. She made oceans, mountains, and rivers, and they were teeming with life. She placed the humans here and they lived happily. The Yue civilization believed that the world had only goodness and peace in the beginning. However, when her brother Cthulhu saw what Mutlu had created, he was furious that he wasn't informed of it. He breathed evil onto humankind, spreading greed, anger, and fear. He created dangerous rivers and storms. Life was no longer easy for the humans. When Mutlu returned, she was distraught. She could not fix the damage Cthulhu had done to Earth. The battle that commenced sparked the everlasting struggle between good and evil.
This creation myth reflects the Yue civilization. For example, Cthulhu's creation of dangerous rivers mirrors the Kotu River, an unpredictable river that ran through the civilization.
The creation of weather relates to how the civilization experienced a full variety of weather, and the numerous number of humans that were created show that the civilization knew about other humans and societies and interacted with them frequently.
Our ancient civilization is a polytheistic society as the people depend on many different gods for their needs such as sunlight, water, food, fertility, and etc. They worship or honor these gods by building temples where they pray and offer human sacrifices. The priests of our society are the religious leaders, and they are the people believed to have been sent from God. Our society has a very unpredictable river that floods irregularly, prompting the people to believe that it is controlled by an angry river goddess. Another example is the goddess of wrath, who is believed to be a way to justify the deaths and sufferings of the guilty.
The first forms of architecture in the Yue society were temples. These temples were constructed as places to worship the gods and goddesses in. This form of architecture spread as more and more people began to recognize and worship more deities. The most prominent of these temples is the Temple of Cardus. This temple honored the first two deities, Cthulhu and Mutlu, as mentioned in the creation myth. It was the largest of the temples, and many people would visit it daily. But temples were not the only form of architecture present in this society. A group of archaeologists have recently discovered artifacts from the civilization in a cave near the Kotu River.
Why are we even in this cave? It's been 5 hours.
Legend has it, the ancient statue of Yue resides in this cave.
Okay.
We have to find it.
And we'll be billionaires. Is that it? Whoa.
Whoa, we found it. This is so cool. But what are those?
Those are, in fact, small figurines of some of the deities that the Yue civilization worshipped. They were valued as ways to appease the gods. For example, one might carry around a small figurine of a river goddess because he believed it would keep the Kotu River from flooding and damaging crops. In addition to figurines, people would make sculptures of the gods and their leaders as well as small sketches. The establishment of a written system was brought about by the need for a more efficient way of communication. This written system, called Yazmak, was very unique from other societies' forms. The purpose of this was so that communication would not be confused with others since they came into frequent contact with other societies. Yazmak allowed people to record events and stories as well as keep records.
Farmers, merchants, blacksmiths, construction workers, priests, scribes, and laborers were the job positions that people could hold in the civilization of Yue. Some of the factors that affected the job development were the environment and social classes. The poor were highly dependent on agriculture and the construction of architecture, so they were usually the farmers and the laborers. The middle class consisted of merchants and traders that made more money than the farmers and laborers and were respected accordingly. Writing was very highly valued, creating job openings for scribes. Scribes were an important part of the society, so they were equally given a powerful role with a lot of respect as writing was necessary for the prosperity of the civilization. Priests and queens were the most respected as they were believed to have been descended from the gods and to be of royal blood.
The civilization of Iwe has a very traditional social pyramid, consisting of queens and religious leaders at the top. Following them are the artisans, traders, and merchants. At the very bottom of the social ladder, there are slaves or commoners, mostly the poor. Injustice treatment is shown in our society as people of royal blood are treated like gods and the poor are treated harshly. Also, Iwe emphasizes the role of women in society as they are the rulers and are treated nicely, even more than men. This is one aspect that makes the civilization of Iwe different from the rest.
Our civilization's form of government was a monarchy led by a queen. The queen was of royal blood and was the firstborn daughter of the previous queen and her husband, and she would hold that position until her death. The civilization was very matriarchal, as the angry river goddess Iwe was a feminine deity who controlled a valuable resource, the Kotu River, of the society. The queen was believed to have a special connection with the gods. There would be leaders that would govern each of the smaller states within the civilization. Descendants of royal blood would be cast into a coliseum, where they would be forced to fight to the death. The winners would be appointed to be the next generation of rulers of Iwe. The queen and the leaders would come together to create laws. Some of the basic laws include no murder, no stealing, no taking part in conspiracies, and no offending the gods. Death and torture, as justified by the goddess of wrath, were the punishments for disobedience and crimes. The people of Iwe either sold themselves off as slaves to pay back debts or suffered for their crimes.
The center of the civilization of Iwe is the Queen's Palace, which is surrounded by the palace grounds, which only the Queen is allowed to use. The homes of the wealthy also surround the palace. Neighboring the homes of the wealthy is the middle class. The middle class live in apartments near the marketplace where most of them work. The marketplace includes a variety of things such as shops, gardens, and temples. The Colosseum, where members of the royal family fight to death, is very close to the marketplace. Enclosing the palace, marketplace, and Colosseum is a large wall known as the Great Wall of Iwe, with a gate that is guarded 24 hours. This civilization's warlike nature limits the population growth as the people of Iwe are constantly fighting and losing members of the community. Around the outside wall is farmland where food for the civilization is grown and where farmers and laborers reside. The river that provides the civilization with water flow near the farmlands. Irregular floods also slow population growth as they ruin crops and cause starvation within the civilization.
The civilization of Iwe has many technological achievements that have been developed for the survival of the society. The Great Wall of Iwe is a defense structure specifically designed to withstand enemy attacks from the outside.
Our civilization is always at risk of constant invasion, and this structure is the first defense against attack. Iwe is dependent on agriculture, and with that comes the need to create basic tools for irrigation and other agricultural purposes.
Since Iwe is constantly at risk of invasion, many weapons are needed for defending the civilization. Language is a key aspect of a society, and the ability to communicate is what influences collaboration within a society.
A language called Yasmak was developed in order for unity between the people. A written language is also a technological achievement by Iwe.
The written language made jobs easier by allowing people to be able to send messages in and out of the civilization with ease.
The laws issued by the queens were written by the scribes with this important language, setting up Iwe's government as well.